All right, cool. And we live. So welcome back to the Daily Dose. It is May 21st, 2024. This is the number one daily morning mastermind for those trying to elevate, grow um, in your business, entrepreneur, personal, spiritual, professional life, right? So we just every day get into it, doing the things that we need to do in order to become better. And we'll hop right into the verse of the week. Psalms 139. Verse 23 through 24. Search me, O God, and know my try me and know my anxieties, and see if there's any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Yesterday we talked about how important it is to ask God to search your heart and how you're going to get tested, and that's not going to get easy. It's not going to be easy because God knows that in order to show yourself approved, you have to be tested, and it's not going to be uh, something that's just gonna be super easy for you to get over or get through, right? You got to know that you're gonna be tested and you want God to test you. That's the only way that you and God will know that you have ultimate faith in God to help you get through any type of situation that will arrive, especially anything that you have been struggling with, because that's what you're gonna get tested with the most. And once, like I said, the second part of the verse, it says, see if there's any wicked way in me. Another translation, it says, see if there's any um confusion in my heart, right? Or if there's any uh basically if you're going the wrong way. Wicked can be such a strong word. But it's basically just saying like, God, look, take a look at my heart, test me, see if there's any way in me that is not following what you tell me to do, right? And then lead me in the way everlasting. Fix it, God. Help me to go on the path, direct my path, and put me in position to win and be successful. This is just a real formula. And when you ask God this, it's gonna be okay, boom, step by step process. God gives us the blueprint to live in an amazing life. God gives us the blueprint. It's just for us to follow it, right? God don't change. We do. So we just got to make sure that we are going through the motions, we're going through the steps that we have to take so that we can make sure that we live our best life, staying tapped in. We'll hop into the business topic for today. Yesterday, I was talking about why it's important to start a nonprofit and the benefits of starting a nonprofit and how you don't have to have a full blown like organization. You can definitely have something small to where you just actually have the entity and you're pouring into it so that you can receive the benefits of it. But today, I'm going to specifically be talking about how to write a grant. So important for us to understand that you yes, you can hire a grant writer if you need to. But if you can use Chat GPT and you can understand what it is that you do and you can organize things, you don't necessarily need to hire a grant writer. It is not that difficult to write a grant. I promise it's not. It is not as difficult, rather that as people make it seem, right? It's not. So number one, just ensure that you know what your mission and your vision are and what demographics do you serve and help. Um, Specifically for my nonprofit, it is we are trying to help Edgecombe and Nash County in housing, uh, entrepreneurship, and workforce development, right? And we are specifically trying to reach the underserved communities, which would be the minority communities, and that would be all of the neighborhoods or communities that are not focused on by the counties at large. And we all know what they are, right? And then what that demographic is. You want to know exactly what your mission and vision is and exactly how you're planning on helping. If you have a scholarship fund, are your who's going to be your scholarship recipients? Like, who do you want to win the scholarship? Like, you don't want it to be so general that okay, you just anybody can apply for the scholarship. You got to choose from so many different kids. You want to have like a specific thing. Just ensure you know what your mission and vision is. And this also goes into business because this is not just for a nonprofit grant. You want to know what your mission and vision is, especially for your business, because you want that to be solidified. You want to know where you're going. Next is identify the funding opportunities. I talked yesterday about a website called Instrumental that's specifically for a nonprofit. But there's so many other places where you can go find grant opportunities for businesses and for nonprofits. You can just Google them and they'll pop up. You can hire somebody to dive in and do deep research on identify funding opportunities for your specific type of business. You might just pay somebody literally $100 on Fiverr.com and have them tell them to research 50 different funding opportunities for grants for your specific business and niche or nonprofit. That's all you have to do. So identify the funding opportunities. The next part is ensure that you read the application carefully. Do not waste your time applying for a grant and you don't even meet the criteria or you don't fit the description of what they're looking for. So make sure that you read the application in its entirety. It's so important that you do this because you could waste hours and hours only to realize that your grant is not going to get looked at anyway because you don't even meet the criteria. And keep all of your documents up to date, your financial statements, any audits. Nonprofits have a tax form called a 990. Businesses, you want to have your tax returns because they're going to ask for this stuff. Keep your documents up to date. Keep them where you can easily access them and you can easily pull them up. That's what we need to do. And I'll give you an example on the Instrumental website of just what that looks like when you're going through maybe a grant opportunity. So over here is all of the different grant opportunities. It matches, right? Like I said, it automatically matches you with what you could potentially apply for. Right. So here is Bancorp Foundation grant. So it literally says, so it goes over eligibility, must have 501c3 status, right? Um, we can't discriminate on any of this stuff, and you must be in the following states. And then it goes down to the ineligibility. And also, you see right here, we prioritize organizations led by a person of color, right? So it's just you want to make sure that you are reading through all of this stuff because each grant is different. Each grant is different from what they will apply to or award rather, and each grant has specifics that you want to make sure that you are really reading and going through. They'll be so explicit because they know exactly what they're looking for. All of them mainly have an ineligibility and an eligibility part. So just make sure, and that's like I said, that's what they look like. Um, so so anyway, that's what this is, and this is so spread out. Like, how is like you got Washington State, Nash County, North Carolina, whatever the case may be. But here we are, and this is what Instrumental website looks like, and that's what a grant like would look like. You're gonna need to read through all of that. So make sure that you're paying attention. Make sure that you provide a detailed executive summary. This summarizes what your nonprofit or business does, what you have done, and what you intend to do, and who you help. That's a detailed executive summary. You also could include how you got started. Next, you want to define the problem. What is the issue? Like, why are you even in existence? Right? As a business, we all know you make the most money when you help provide a solution to a problem. Same thing in a nonprofit. There's a huge problem, or there's a problem in general in your community. What are you doing to help that problem? And or what is the problem? Right? In Rocky Mount, there are, or in Nash and Edgecombe counties, there's a huge lack of housing in general, And then there's a huge lack of quality, affordable housing. Boom. Huge problem. Number two, there is a huge problem with our workforce development as it pertains to the people having the necessary skills and education to get the higher paying jobs that are actually in that area, right? And then the same thing with entrepreneurship development. We have a lot of small businesses, but we need our small business to grow and scale so that more people, so they can serve more people, right? That is the issue that my nonprofit sees, right? And the next one is gonna once again identify the demographic that you serve. You're gonna explicitly put this in there. Who are you serving? Like, who is this problem affecting? Right? It is affecting uh the underserved communities the most. Because if we don't have housing and then other people come in and create housing, but it's not affordable in those neighborhoods, then who gets pushed out and who has to go elsewhere? Right? Or if more jobs are coming here because it's the land is cheap and it's cheaper to hire people here to like build and do construction stuff, right? But you have higher paying jobs that are coming here. Who's going to get those jobs? Other people are going to move into the area and get those jobs as opposed to the people who are living in National Edgecombe County to get those jobs, right? So you got to identify the demographic you serve and then present your solution, right? What are you doing to help solve the problem? Present it, outline it, make sure that you explicitly say what you're doing. Detail your implementation plan. What exactly are you doing? Right. So your solution is overall, this is what's needed. Your detail, your implementation plan, this is how I'm going to do it. Right. That's the difference between presenting your solution and then outlining your implementation plan. And this is one of the most important things. If you can outline this and you can have a clear understanding of the impact that it's going to have, you can effectively communicate how much better off your demographic will be with the services that you're providing, with the solution that you're providing, you're going to have a great grant and you're going to get awarded because they're going to clearly see, like, okay, without this, then I don't know what's going to happen to these people, right? Like, literally, think about, nonprofits that help domestic violence victims or nonprofits that help, like what would those people do without the services that those nonprofits are providing? You want to really outline the impact of what you're doing. And like this is not just for nonprofits, also in business. Because in business, you are making an impact. You are helping the community in some way. Next thing is to submit it and then follow up. Thank them for the opportunity to be able to apply for the grant. And then, you can ask when you expect to hear back. Most of the time they say whenever you can expect to hear back. So just want to make sure that you are doing that. And then lastly, I put up here, you can look for a grant writer if you want to. Some grant writers either charge a fee up front or they charge a percentage of however much the grant is, and that'll be like their commission if they get awarded the grant. But so these are the steps to how to write a grant. And the funny thing is, if you look for a grant writer, all of these things that I'm telling you to include in the grant, you're gonna have to tell the grant writer because they're not gonna be able. They're gonna get a little bit from you, maybe if you have a website or something like that, but you're not gonna be able to just. They're not gonna just know that information. So you'll have to tell them all this information anyway. So you might as well just write it yourself. That's how I feel though. And you might have a different opinion, you might not have the time, you might not have the resources or whatever the case may be. That's just how I feel. You can save some money and write the grant yourself. And for our self-development topic, we're gonna be talking about living your best life. All right. And I want everybody to understand that we have an abundance of life to live, and we can all live our best lives, right? But the one thing we have to do is determine what is our best life in the first place. What does that look like for ourselves? What is our best life when as it pertains to what we want to do, how we want to live life, and the things that we want to have, the things that we want to achieve, the things that we want to be consistent with, everything like that. You got to determine what your best life is. That's the number one first step. A lot of people go through life just living, and they don't even have an idea of what their best life looks like, right? They can't even fathom it. But you listening to this, understanding that we're striving for greatness every single day, you need to determine what your best life looks like. The sooner you have a picture, the sooner you can start working towards it. Number two, this is the biggest step. It's the simplest step. I won't say it's the easiest, but it's the most simplest step. And if you tell yourself this, it makes it easy. Go ahead and be the person. Be your best life. Don't try to be the person. And what I mean by that is, okay, if part of your best life is, okay, I want to be a certain amount of pounds and I want to eat X, Y, and Z. Don't say, well, I'm about to try to do this. Every single day, just be that person. And that will help you to become closer and closer to living your best life way faster. Right. Just go ahead and be that person who you want to be. Right. And that's simply how you become that person. You wake up like, okay, if I want to be a person that's gonna eat whole foods all day, and not snack on junk food, then do it. Like, don't try to do it, just do it. Just go ahead and be that person. There's really no other way to explain that. It's just that if you tell yourself, like, okay, I'm already that person, so let me just do it. You know what I'm saying? It's not there's no waiting or no getting ready to do it. It's just go ahead and be, right? Attack every single day. And this is the part of it. Live like you're gonna die one day, right? And that doesn't mean live crazy. That means live with purpose. Because there's one fact of life for every single person that's alive right now is that we're gonna die. So what legacy are you gonna leave behind? What are you gonna do in your life? And honestly, every day we're alive, we get closer to death. It might be crazy to think about, but you don't want to get so close to death and you have never lived your best life. You want to think about these things, right? You really do, because it can happen in the blink of an eye. I heard many, many people like, man, if I would have just did this back in the day, or if I would have just did X, Y, and Z, I done spent 20 years doing the same thing over and over again. Now I'm 55, I can't go run. I can't go do whatever. I can't go travel whenever I want to. I gotta, whatever the case may be. So attack every single day with purpose, with passion, with clarity. Seek guidance from God. This will also 100% help you live your best life. If you seeking guidance from God and you're asking God what your best life is and what He wants you to do in your life, God will show you the path. God will direct your steps. God will close doors and open doors in your favor. Make sure that you are seeking guidance from God, asking Him to lead you and guide you, and give you the wisdom to make the correct decisions each and every single day so that you can live your best life. But that'll wrap it up for today. Hope definitely got some value from this, and hope everybody have a super blessed Tuesday. And we'll be right back at it.